joining me in today's Yoga for ACL Surgery Recovery course. So right now you're probably about 3.5, almost 4 months, and physical therapy might be getting a little bit more tough, adding a lot more elements to your session. So today's class is going to be about balance. So this is going to go along with the theme of really strengthening the knee or the muscles surrounding the knee. So today, since we're going to be doing a lot of balancing exercises, it's going to be a lot of quad work, a little bit of hamstring work, and hips. So for class today, you're going to need a block or two, a towel. So I recommend having a towel if you have floors, like I have tile floors. This is for when we're going to do some sort of slider exercise for our hamstrings. And then also, if you have carpet and these are just furniture sliders. I got them for like 10 bucks at the store or online. And if you have carpet, you can use these instead of the towels. And then also, again, if you, for every class, I'm always gonna recommend to have some sort of blanket nearby or something soft to put underneath your knee. So my knees are actually pretty, not sensitive, but I like to have a lot of padding under my knee when I do yoga. So I like to have like a towel or a hold up my mat just to give it a little extra cushion. Not because they're sensitive from my surgery, they've just kind of always been like that. And maybe that's just because I was a runner, or I used to run a lot. But anyways, that was a side rant. Have these props or these tools nearby. Since we're gonna be doing balancing, it's okay to have a wall or a chair nearby. Just anything that's going to help you, because don't expect yourself to be perfect or to be completely balanced in all of the poses that we do today. They're meant to challenge you. So if you wobble a lot or a little, don't worry about it too much. It's just your body learning how to kind of recalibrate and get its strength back and get its center of balance back after being a little off kilter with your knee for a couple of months. So to get started, we're gonna come into a seated position actually. And this might be a little bit difficult for some of you to do, but we're doing it just to kind of introduce the sensation within your body. So we're gonna come onto our heels. So I'm just gonna come to the side so you can see. So this is one variation where you're sitting on your heels. The next variation will be to tuck your toes under and to sit back on your heels. So either of those will work. If either of them are too intense for you, you can always take your blanket and sit on your blanket to give you a little bit of a boost. We're also doing this to begin to stretch out the toes and the feet a little bit. We don't really think too much about the feet, but they're our foundation. We're constantly walking, and how are the strength and the flexibility of our feet, something we don't really think about, actually really affects all of the chain of events all the way up our body and up to our knees and our hips. So it's important to think about what's going on in our feet every once in a while. So choose whichever position that you want to be in. And if either of those are too intense and you're just like, I just can't do it, just come into a seated position. Maybe have a block underneath your hips like this. And you can just practice the cross-legged position. But give it a try with your legs together, sitting on your heels. And all we're gonna do is just a little bit of breath work to get started before we begin class, just to start to warm up the body a little bit, get the blood flowing, but also calm the system so that we're not in our heads too much. So just place your hands on your knees, close your eyes, and take a big inhale into the lower belly. Feel it really push out. Holding at the top for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last time, inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just come back to your normal breath. And before we get started, just doing things a little bit different today. Just set an intention for how you want your class to go. Maybe you're a little nervous, or maybe you're afraid that your body isn't going to be able to do what it used to be able to do, and that's okay. Maybe your intention can be just to be kind to yourself or just to go slow. When we set these intentions, we're able to find more of a focus or a goal to work towards, and just to remind us as we go through the practice and we start to get in our heads a little bit. And then slowly start to come out. Your toes might feel a little weird, so just come into tabletop and kind of tap your feet out a little bit. Move your ankles around, move your toes around. Our feet aren't really being used to being flexed that way, so it can feel a little awkward. All right, so we're gonna start off working the hamstrings. So if you have carpet and you have these sliders, you can use those. I do not, so I'm going to use these 2 towels, and you're gonna come into bridge pose. So bring your hips onto the ground and onto your back with your knees bent. You're gonna push your hips up towards the sky, and then you're gonna lift your toes up. So it's just your heels that are on the furniture sliders or the towel or whatever you have. And we're gonna do 10 total to start. So we're just gonna do one leg at a time. So slide the right leg forward, keeping your hips up the whole time, and bring it back. Slide the left foot forward and come back. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And keep your hips lifted. We're still working the glutes here. We're really working the hamstrings. So continue to be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're gonna go back into that again. So for 10 total. 1, 2, keep your hips lifted. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and come back to center. Push the hips up even higher. I know the hamstrings are maybe burning a little bit now, so we're gonna hold this for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and one final round. Stick with me here. Extend out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Keep your hips lifted. 7, 8, 9, 10. Come back and hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Keep your hips lifted. 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly release down and slowly come up. You can set these towels aside or your furniture sliders aside. We're going to begin with some sun salutations. So come into a downward facing dog just to start off. And take a few moments here to just get adjusted and just start to really open up the body a little bit here. So down dog is one of those poses that really opens up the entire body, starts to open up the entire fascial line all the way from the back of your heels to the front of your head. So just kind of shake your head around from side to side, walk your feet out a little bit, and then walk your feet all the way up to the top of your mat. And inhale, lift your arms up to the sky. And exhale, hands to heart center. Take your feet about the width of your mat with your toes slightly turned out. On an inhale, lift your arms up to the sky. Exhale, sink your hips down, back, extend your arms forward, coming into a squat. We'll just do a couple of bounces here to start to open up the hips. Be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, fold forward. And just take a few breaths here. Maybe move your hips from side to side. Just allow your head and your neck to relax and hang here. And inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, hands to the ground. Step back into your plank. And on an exhale, lower down to the ground. And just starting off, we're just gonna come down to our chest. And take your hands out to the side, come up onto your fingertips. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift up. And exhale down. Take your hands next to your chest. If you feel comfortable going up into upward facing dog, go ahead and do that. It was a little weird for me to do upward facing dog around this time just because you're working on straightening your knee and it puts a little bit of pressure on it. So it's okay to just do your low cobra, or if you do just a modified version with one of your knees down in this upward facing dog pose. So take your variation, whatever you feel comfortable with. Don't push your body just because you feel like you need to do it or you're watching me do it. This is a time for you to really connect with your body. And just on your next exhale, come into your downward facing dog. Take a big inhale in. And exhale out. Big inhale in. And exhale out. Look to the top of your mat. Walk your feet all the way up to the top. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift your arms up to the sky. And exhale, hands to heart. Take your feet about the width of your mat. Toes slightly turn out. Inhale, lift your arms up to the sky. And exhale, extend your arms forward. Sink your hips back into the slow squat. And sink a little bit lower. And keep lowering the hips as low as you can go until you come into your Malasana squat. If this is too intense, you can just grab a block and sit on it. Right here, we just really want to focus on starting to open up the hips here. And just bring your hands to your heart center. Take a big inhale in. And exhale out. If you're a little bit more comfortable in this Malasana squat, you can play around with just going from foot to foot, maybe opening up the knee a little bit here. If this bothers your knee or is uncomfortable in any way, don't feel the need to do this. You can just hang out here or sit on your block. Because right now, this work, if you're just hanging out here, this is doing a lot of benefit to your body. It's really opening up the hip joint. It's very slow, so you don't need to force anything. It's something that happens on its own by just being in this pose. On your next exhale, bring your hands down to the ground. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, push your hands down onto the mat, step back into your plank. And lower down into your chaturanga, maybe going all the way. And inhale to your low cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Good, and then look to the top of your mat and start to walk your feet all the way up to the top. Inhale, lift your arms up to the sky, and exhale, hands to heart center. Starting off with tree pose, you're gonna take your left foot to the inside of your right calf, or if you can bring it to the inside of your right thigh. You can use a wall to balance if you need it here. Just remember while you're in this pose, you're really using your right leg to help you balance. So using all of those muscles in the bottom and the lower leg, surrounding the ankle, and then also your glutes. So think about squeezing your right glute here. Bring your hands to heart center. And then lift up towards the sky. And just allowing your gaze to fall on one point. And if you'd like, for a few seconds, and close your eyes, see if you can find your balance here. And open your eyes. That's a little tricky for me too. And I'm pretty far out from my knee surgery. Bring your hands to your heart center. And then bring your left knee forward. Slowly extend your left leg back, coming into your modified warrior 3 here. Flex your back toes to the mat. And really squeeze your left quad. Slowly start to bend your right knee, coming into your bent leg warrior 3. Bend your left knee, start to bring it in close, just behind your right knee. So from here, we're gonna tap down this left knee as close to the floor as you can. So lower down and come back up. Lower down and come back up. It doesn't matter how low you go, as long as you're working on balancing and using your right leg. All right, so one more time, and you can take your hands to your hips, your heart. I'm being a little awkward with my arms. So if I'm not cueing arms, just do whatever makes sense for you to help you when you're balancing this posture. All right, so lowering down and up, and then bring that left leg forward. We're gonna do these around the world taps. So extend your left leg forward, bend your right knee, and as you bend the standing leg, just make sure your knee is in a line with your toes. So you're gonna really reach that left foot forward, and then bring back out to the side, and then back behind you. We're gonna do that 2 more times. Extend the left foot forward as far as you can, over to the left, and back behind you. 1 more time. Extend forward, out to the side. We're just tapping here, and back behind you. And then from here, just start to lower that back foot down, come into your low lunge. If this is too much on your knee, just grab a blanket or a towel, place underneath that knee. And just really push the hips forward, lift the arms up to the sky. On an exhale, take your left hand to the inside of that left foot, tuck your toes under, lift the knee up off the mat, and twist to your right, coming into Revolve Low Lunge. Really squeeze your left quad, squeeze your left glute, and slowly start to come up off of your left fingertips. If you need a block here too, if that's helpful, to give you a little bit of height, to help you push up, we're gonna come into Revolve Crescent. So all you're gonna do is lift the upper body up, extending that right arm back and that left arm forward, really squeezing your left glute. That is 1 breath here. And open all the way up into your goddess pose. So your toes are gonna be turned out. We've done this a few times in the other videos. And you're gonna sink the hips down and bring the arms into goalpost position. We're gonna do heel lifts. We're gonna do 10 total here. So keeping your arms up, lift your right heel, left for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then lower down. A little bit more, holding it here. And then come all the way up to standing. Turn to the front of the mat into your low lunge. Step back into plank. And just flow through your vinyasa, taking whichever variation feels good in your body. Meeting me in downward facing dog. Just take a moment to catch your breath. Go ahead and look to the top of your mat. Walk your feet all the way up to the top. Inhale, lift your arms all the way up towards the sky. And then from here, we're just gonna repeat this on the other side. I'm actually gonna go over here so my back isn't facing you when I start to turn into the other posture. So bring your right foot up, take that foot to the inside of your calf or your thigh. So whichever variation you did on the other side, just make sure you're not locking out this standing leg and you're not putting that foot on that knee. So take whichever variation. Again, there's no right or wrong. Just do the best that you can. Use a wall for support if needed. Bring your hands to heart. Lift your arms up. And just focus on one point to help you with your balance here. And then maybe try closing your eyes for a few seconds here. Slowly open your eyes. Bring your hands back to heart center. Bring the right knee forward. And then start to extend the right leg back, coming into your warrior three. Really flex those back toes. Pull, if that right hip is starting to open, just pull it so that your hip points are both level. And just take a slight bend in that left knee. And then from here, take a deeper bend in your left knee into bent leg warrior three. Bring the right knee just behind the right leg. And we're gonna slowly lower down that right knee to tap. Just 2 more times. Lower down as close to the ground as you can. And one more time, lower down and come up. Bring that right leg front or to the front. And we'll do these around the world taps. So again, make sure the standing leg, this knee, is tracking over your toes. You don't want your leg to track inward or be out of control. You want this to be really controlled on the leg. So we're really working on those inner quad muscles, actually all of the quad muscles. So from here, bend your left leg. Extend that right leg as much as you can forward, and then bring out to the side. Bring back behind you. 2 more times. Forward, to the side, and back. Forward, to the side, and back. And then from here, lower that back foot down. Come into your low lunge. Really push the hips forward. Squeeze your right glute. Using that towel under the knee if you need. You can bring your hands together apart, whichever feels most comfortable for you. Really lift the arms up and back like you're trying to bring them to point to the back wall behind you. So really feel that deep stretch in the front body. And then release the hands. Bring the right hand to the inside of your left foot. Tuck your back toes under. Twist open to your left for Revolve Low Lunge. Using that block if you need it for a little extra height. And then from here, start to come up onto your right fingertips. Slowly pushing yourself up, keeping that left knee in line with your left ankle. Then coming into Revolve Crescent, being here for 2 breaths. Slowly open up into your goddess pose. And then doing these heel lifts. So lift the right heel and bring it down. Left heel for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And sink a little bit lower here. And then bring your hands to the front of the mat into a low lunge. Step back into a plank and flow through your vinyasa. Continue to breathe here. We're going to go through that one more time, but a little bit faster. So try to stick with me here. Just look to the top of your mat. You can walk or take small hops all the way up to the top. Inhale, lift your arms up to the sky. Coming over here so you guys can see me better. And then from here, lift your left knee up. Come into your tree pose. Taking a few moments to get your balance. Making sure there's a slight bend in that standing leg. And try closing your eyes. Bring your hands to heart center. Bring that left knee forward. And extend back. Slight bend in your right leg, warrior three. Start to deeply bend that right knee. Pull that left knee in. Lower down and tap for 3, 2, and 1. Come back up. Bring your left knee forward. And extend your left leg forward to the side. side and back, keeping that right knee in line with the toes. Extend forward to the side and back. Lower down into your low lunge. Push the hips forward, squeeze your left glute, lift the arms up and back. Bring the left hand to the inside of that right foot. Come into your Revolve Low Lunge, using a block if needed. From here, come up onto your left fingertips. And then into your Revolve Crescent Lunge. Squeeze your left quad and your left glute to really help to stabilize you. And then open up into your goddess pose. Good. From here, lift the right heel up and the left. For 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sink a little bit lower. And then come into your low lunge and flow through your vinyasa. Going at whichever pace, doing whichever posture feels good for you. Sometimes you come down to your knees and you push up. Again, just find what feels good for you so you're not putting too much pressure on the knee that you had surgery on. All right, last round on the other side. Look to the top of your mat, walk your feet up or take small hops to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift your arms up to the sky. And come into your tree pose. And then just take a few moments to find your balance. Slight bend in that left knee. Keeping your arms lifted over your head. Maybe close your eyes, try to find your balance. Slowly bring your hands back to heart center. Open up your eyes if they were closed. Bring your right knee forward. And then slowly extend the right leg back. Left knee slightly bent. Coming to warrior 3. From warrior 3, bend your knee. Bend your right knee to bring back behind the left. 3 taps. Lower down and up. Lower down for 2. You can extend your arms out to provide a little bit more of a balancing here. And come back. And then from here, bring your right knee up. And then extend the right leg forward as much as you can. Tap to the side and back. Bring that foot forward to the side and back. Last one. Forward to the side and back. Lower that back foot down. Use that towel or that blanket underneath the knee if you need that. Lift your arms up to the sky. Press the hips forward. Squeeze your right glute. Lift the arms up and back. On your next exhale, take your right hand to the inside of your left foot. Tuck your back toes under, twist open to your left. Use that block under the right hand if you need it. Slowly come up onto your fingertips and lift up into your Revolve Crescent. Squeeze your right glute, squeeze your right quad, and then open up into your goddess pose. Lift that right heel and the left heel. Good. Right for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bring the hands to heart center. Sink the hips a little bit lower. Good. And then bring the hands back to the front of the mat. Come into your low lunge. And flow through your vinyasa. Meet me in downward facing dog. And slowly lower down to your knees. And then you're going to come on into a seated position, coming into a forward fold. And your legs are extended out in front. Just bend your knees. Just kind of scoot your butt back a little bit more. You want to try to find more of an anterior pelvic tilt. So you're really tilting the pelvic forward, almost like you're trying to arch your lower back here. Bring your stomach to the tops of your thighs. Bring your hands underneath your toes. And try to keep your stomach glued to the tops of your thighs as much as you can. So you're getting a nice lower back stretch here too, along with the hamstrings. So hang out here if this is a nice deep stretch. If you can go a little bit farther, just walk the heels forward. And just come back to your breath. Start to slow it down. Yeah, that was a little bit of a workout for me, so I'm sorry if I'm breathing too heavily into this microphone. And slowly start to come up. And from here, we're going to come into a wide-legged stretch. This isn't going to focus too much on the inner thighs. Today, we're actually going to do a side stretch. So keep your toes pointed nice and up. Maybe your legs don't go out as far as mine, that's totally fine. Just do the best that you can. From here, you just sit up as straight as you can. Start to extend or reach your left arm towards your left toes. And then start to drop the left elbow down around the inside of your knee. And you can bring the hand close to the belly of the ribs. Reach the right arm up and over your head. We're not trying to reach for the toes or anything. This is more of a reaching up and over towards the sky. So you're really gonna find that expansion, that deep stretch in the side body. And you can just use your hand here on your ribs to kind of push the ribs and turn them up towards the sky. You'll get a deeper stretch this way. Slowly come back to center. And just switch sides. Reach that right hand towards the right foot. Lower that right elbow down. Bring the hand to the belly or the ribs. Reach the left arm up and over, using that bottom hand to turn the ribs up towards the sky a little bit more. This helps provide a little bit of a deeper stretch. We don't really think about our oblique or abdominal muscles, but they're actually super important because, we sit at a desk all day and they start to shorten because, we're kind of hunched over all the time, and these muscles connect to our hips, which in turn, when we have tight hips, that affects our knees. So it's really important to look at the body as a whole and see how everything works together. Slowly come out. And when we start to loosen up all the areas of our body, not just one area, we're able to find more openness in each pose. All right. So we're gonna come all the way onto our backs, lower down to the mat, bring your legs together, bend your knees, and you can place your hands in anywhere that feels comfortable. We're just gonna come into reclined butterfly. So if this is uncomfortable for you in any way, you can place blocks underneath your knees just to give you a little bit of support. Maybe place your hands on your belly. Maybe they feel good out here on the side. And one additional thing that you can do, if you'd like, and you have blocks, you can come to lay down and open up the chest here. So bring that block to the lower part of your shoulder blades, and then having this block to rest your head on, and coming into your reclined butterfly, your Supta Baddha Konasana, and just spend about 10 deep breaths here. And slowly begin to come back into the body. If you actually just want to end class and you want to stay here a little bit longer, you can hang out here. This is a really amazing pose for opening up the inner thighs and also opening up the chest and the pectoral muscles. Again, this is a really great posture you can do every morning just to create more of openness in the shoulders and the front of the chest. It's really good for anyone who sits at a desk all day. If you are ready to come out, you can slowly bring the knees together. And slowly come all the way up to a seated position. So that was supposed to be a 30-minute class. We went a little bit over, but I wanted to make sure that we had a little bit of stretching here at the end, a little bit of relaxation to bring you down from, really bringing the heart rate up during that class. So I hope you guys enjoyed the class. Thank you so much for watching. Filming these videos is a little weird for me, so I'm getting more used to it the more that I do them, and I'm really enjoying putting all of this together and teaching this. So thank you for sticking with me and kind of learning with me as I go and learn how to teach in front of a video. So I know it's always a little bit weird to see yourself on camera. So I appreciate you guys being here along here with on my own journey and doing this course for me. It really means a lot to me, and I'm so glad that I can share all of these yoga classes with you. And tearing the ACL is never a fun thing, and so I'm glad that I can share my own experience in order to maybe bring a little bit of love and light and hope into anyone else's recovery from their knee surgery. So yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will see you guys on the mat for the next video. Thanks so much for joining me.